Hey Coffee Clan, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I make my favorite French press coffee. So there are so many different ways to make French press. If you speak to 10 different people, you're probably gonna have 10 different responses. So I'm here to show you guys an easy, simple way that anybody can make it. We're not gonna use a scale, we're not gonna use things that you wouldn't normally have in your home because let's be real, not everybody has a coffee scale, and like we want to make this a simple process, okay? We don't want to make this a long drawn out process. So I'm going to try to get to the point and I'm going to show you guys how I make a really easy French press coffee at home. And I'm also going to give you guys tips on other ways that you can make it better if you don't want it to be super grainy at the bottom. If you want less like coffee smudge at the bottom, I'll give you guys tips for that too. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So what you're gonna need for French press coffee is you're gonna need some boiled water and you're gonna need a French press. I am using this French press. It's a really simple French press. You can get it at Walmart. This is just a Mr. Coffee French press and it's just a really easy two-part thing. You have the plunger and the glass holder. You know what I'm talking about. Now, I also really like this French press, and I'm gonna plug it right here really quickly because I really like this. I just got this. It is the Bodum French press, and this is the original. It is a bigger version of a French press. As you can see the difference. This will hold like a full pot of coffee. I love this, especially on the weekends when I'm making coffee for me and my husband, because it's enough for 4 cups of coffee instead of like 2. So I really like this. You can get it on Amazon. And if you're using beans that need to be grinded, I'm just using, again, this really easy Mr. Coffee bean grinder, and I'm trying to keep it really simple and cheap for you guys. But if you want to be bougie, you can get a hand grinder and do it that way, or you can get a more expensive grinder. It's up to you. So today we're going to be using some Columbia coffee. It is a small batch roasted coffee by the company Stave. It is a local coffee from Kentucky. I really like this. It's a medium roast and it is a whole bean, so we're gonna have to grind some beans, and the notes in it are chocolate, dried fruit, citrus, and almond. So you guys can look this company up. I really like them, but we're gonna be using this today for our French press. So we're gonna grind some beans and get to going. So like I said, you're gonna need a grinder, you're gonna need your French press and the plunger, and you're going to need your coffee. So the first thing we're gonna do is grind beans, and I don't really measure these out. I kind of just fill it to the silver line. It's about 5 tablespoons, and I usually use a coffee scoop to measure it, but I'm just gonna pour it right in today. And make sure that you are grinding it coarser, not super coarse, but also, you know, just kind of feel it out. It needs to be a little bit coarser so the grounds don't come through the plunger, but this is about how I like to get mine, if you can see. Now we're going to boil some water and make sure you're using filtered water because you can taste the difference. Once your beans are grinded, like I said, I use a scoop to measure, and just take like 5 tablespoons of it and put it into your French press. Like I said, you can use a coffee measure scale to measure this, but I don't really see the point. I've tried it both ways, and to me it tastes really close to being pretty much the same. So while the water is brewing, I wanted to point out to you guys and shout out another coffee brand that I really like. This coffee, I've told you guys about it in a previous vlog, from Kiwana Coffee Work. It's up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, but you can order it online. You can get all of these online. This is really good. It's the Borealis one, and it is notes of black and red berries, a bright and complex coffee, and I really love this. It's got a very sweet taste without being overpowering. I'm not a berry person. I don't really like sweet coffee, but this one is really good. And then the other one that I really liked from them is the Northwoods one. So those are my 2 favorites, but I want to try other ones, and I just had to shout them out because they're a great coffee company. So let's get back to the French press. So once your water is boiling, you're gonna pour it in over the grounds. I like to pour it in right before it starts boiling. That's just a personal preference, but you want to cover all the grounds. And then the most important part, you got to put your patient pants on, is you have to let it sit for 4 minutes. Don't touch it, don't stir it, don't even think about it. Just let it sit for 4 minutes, and then after 4 minutes you can stir it. after you've let it sit for 4 minutes, you can go ahead and take a big spoon like this and give it a stir. Now this is where people differ. We're going to break the crust on the top of this French press, and I like to stir it and then take the spoon and scrape off just the top parts of it. Some people don't do that. Some people let it sit first. I just let it stop spinning, and then I'll show you guys in a second. You just scrape off the grounds and dump them in the trash can. And I typically do this just 3 times, or until, you know, most of the grounds on the top are off. And as you can see, there are a lot of grounds. After you're done scraping the grounds off, just let it sit again for about 3 minutes, and then we are ready to press our coffee. We are in a new location because it's a beautiful day out. So you're going to take your plunger and you're going to stick it on the top. And this is where we also differ, some people. Some people push it down all the way, some people don't. I usually push it down about halfway. The reason for this is because I don't like a bunch of grit in my coffee. You guys know this. So if you push it down not all the way, you're not stirring up the bottom. If you push it down all the way, you're going to stir up the grounds in the bottom, and it's just going to be a lot more gritty and gross. The other thing with the French press is the longer the coffee in the press sits, the also more gritty it gets. So I like to pour out as much as I can. I'm just going to be having 1 cup of coffee, so I'll have a little bit extra I'll just leave in the French press. But if you're gonna drink the whole French press, pour it into 2 separate cups, because trust me, if it sits in the press, it's just going to get really gritty and it's not going to be good. But this is our French press coffee. Alright you guys, that is how I make my French press coffee. It's really simple, really easy, really quick, and I found that it is the best way to show you guys how to do it without having to buy all the extra stuff and do all the extra steps. It still tastes really good. It's honestly, I can't tell much of a difference between this way and the way that professionals per se would do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you try French press this way, and I'll see you guys next time, and until then, drink coffee, travel often. I love you. Happy spring. Bye.